Hello, everybody, and welcome in. This is my first episode officially as CEO of Media Productions for First Class Business. Before I get started and dive into an awesome edition of Power Take, let me give thanks and grace to our founder who started the original journey.
Welcome to the Power Take Live, where we discuss strategic revenue growth for your brand and business. My name is Jackson Callum. I'm your host, and we look forward to talking about what's important for your business today. Let's dive in. Business buzz. What's happening this week in business, and how does it pertain to your brand? Filtering the noise. What distractions exist in the world right now that you should stay away from so you can focus on building a profitable business model? Building with poise. What things you should be doing consistently to drive sustainable revenue growth. I talk about how to get the most out of the tools that you're using to drive your success. Tune in to the Power Takes for momentum, motivation, and massive revenue growth.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much to our founder, Jackson Callum, who has given me an awesome platform to leap from. And we were going to dive right in as my first episode and talk really about what's going on in the world since ChatGPT just turned 1 year old. And everybody's talking about AI. And everywhere you look, there's AI. There's an AI tool for everything. There's almost a point where you feel like there's an AI tool for AI tools. And when we get to that point, we'll be having bigger discussions about the freedom that AI will deliver to the world. But we're really going to stay on topic today and really talk about the impact of AI across the four pillars that we believe in. And so we're going to start off with, of course, the big news that I opened and talk about ChatGPT turning 1 year old. What does that truly mean? And what are the implications from a business perspective? Number one, a lot of businesses are still trying to understand what it is that artificial intelligence can bring to the business. I mean, that's going to be one of the big questions is how do I now get this intelligence that has given itself stable feet? You know, your first year in a application environment, you typically haven't proven yourself. Now that we're 1 year in and Sam came back, of course, that would have been disastrous if Sam had not found a way back into the company because the public would have lost faith. And so from a business buzz perspective, the impact on the brand that ChatGPT that I can see across markets is that the machine generated content has devalued and overloaded the market, which from a content perspective, what you're looking for as a business is the ability to articulate your viewpoint, your brand's authenticity in a way that stands out in the market. And what this will require for the businesses from a brand standpoint to really harness the power of a ChatGPT is to be able to fine tune the actual tone and delivery of the AI chatbot to resemble more human interactions. And that requires training and fine tuning. But ultimately, from a brand perspective, once you're delivering high value text content, moving now into audio content as ChatGPT now moves into that particular space, you will as a brand have the opportunity to take more of your own personal stories and turn them into case studies. That's going to be one of the biggest opportunities that ChatGPT is going to create for brands this upcoming year is to be able to turn your past as leadership, as high-ranking management, as individual contributors, turn your stories, your successes into case studies. Because now the market can understand either from a business perspective or from a leadership perspective exactly what it is you do from the standpoint of systems and processes, which are the natural language, of the market. So absolutely Kudos to OpenAI and the board, the new board, for being able to resolve this situation, because we do, at a time where inflation and interest rates are incredibly high, we need an optimizer and streamliner of cost and processes. So one of the biggest ways from a brand perspective that you can take advantage of what ChatGPT has to offer is going to be around looking for business process optimization and cost optimization. So there are two brand impacts. One will impact the brand from a public facing perspective, and one can impact the brand from an internal facing perspective. Both of those are great opportunities for a business to combat inflation and rising interest rates. So kudos again to the team at OpenAI. Our second pillar that we really discuss is really around how to filter out the noise. And really, because of the explosion of AI, how do you determine what tool is right for you? Now, of course, I went with the open ChatGPT. I mean, almost everybody has heard of it. If not, everybody has at least touched or used it. But really, when you get past the surface of ChatGPT, there are hundreds and hundreds of artificial intelligence applications, whether they're on the branding and design creative side. And then, of course, there's text, and then there's bolts and applications that go into like LinkedIn profiles that help you do sales and in sales intelligence. So really, what do you do when the business community has exploded with AI offerings? Well, one of the impacts of this explosion is around how marketing is being impacted by the content generation deluge. Now, again, in the open, I talked about how ChatGPT can help a brand by allowing the brand to capture its voice and turn those past experiences and successes into case studies. Well, if every brand can do that, then every brand will do that. And one becomes 10, becomes 1,000, 10,000, a million, and up to 100 million content articles published daily. And what that does is that makes it incredibly difficult for the market to tune out the noise and to really find those hidden insights inside of data that allow for the business to make the strategic move that outfoxes the competition. And so if we're looking for a way to filter out the noise, I believe what the best strategy should be implemented from an AI perspective is focus on a core set. Focus on a core set of tools and applications that you believe are going to be beneficial to the short-term objectives of the business. The reason why I say focus on the short term is so that you can eliminate futurizing when you're looking for steady state improvement. When you're looking at steady state improvement in the short term, you can then implement the tool that solves that problem, and then you scale that tool across the operation. Because that short-term problem is present enough for you to seek out an artificial intelligence to solve. So you filter out what you do not need at this particular time to focus on what AI can help you solve in the short term of the business. When the short-term challenges are solved, you can look at the long-term application of AI. And that is because you have solved some of the operational pinnings in the organization that are bottlenecking attention, bottlenecking performance, and increasing cost because of repetitive processes in the business. So again, our strategy for filtering out noise is going to be centered around making sure that you define a set of short-term objectives for the business and finding the best AI tools to achieve those short-term objectives, relieve the short-term pain, and start looking for the long-term gain. Where we look at artificial intelligence and we look at the overall gameplay, the thing that we're actually going to be wondering is, how do we build? Honestly speaking, how do we take a ChatGPT and a Meta's Llama, Google Gemini? How do we build with these types of intelligences? What do we really need to do in terms of being able to understand what is our capabilities as an organization? You see, before you get to the building part, you want to first go into the first foundation of leveraging data within the organization. What artificial intelligence will allow for businesses to do is now you can achieve business intelligence at rapid scale and rapid deployment. In order to achieve business intelligence, you must first start by understanding the value of having a data warehouse. One of the most important tools that Fortune 500 companies use to leverage their competitive advantages inside of the data that they are generating as organizations. Accenture is one of the world champions at this. And so when you have reached a point as a business where you've scaled your sales philosophy, now you have employees that are executing the sales philosophy of the organization. You have operations employees, you have marketing employees, you have management layer, and you have teams working towards a cohesive goal. Then you now have the foundation for creating a data warehouse, because each of those teams is likely to have a system of record that they use as a department that feeds into an overall system, let's say a CRM of the business. So you have multiple systems generating information for the organization. Now you have the foundation of a data lake, which is the place that all of the data will be poured into, and then data warehouses can be created from those data lakes. And so you create data warehouses specifically for the types of use cases that you need to understand about that particular. So you create a marketing data warehouse when you understand the trends in the market. What is customer sentiment? How is our brand performing against competition? What are our outcomes of our marketing efforts? Those are the types of things a data warehouse in the marketing respect would have. Now, if you have a data warehouse, let's say on the operation side, what if my processes are the most inefficient? Where are my bottlenecks? How many redundancies are we seeing across our personnel and human resources? Data warehousing is something that a business, once you reach about the 25 employee mark, need to be thinking about at an in-depth level. How do we start leveraging our data for business intelligence? The beauty and the theme of this entire episode is about AI. The great thing about a ChatGPT, a Meta's Llama, and of course the coming Google Gemini is that you can ask artificial intelligence to help you develop a strategy for creating data warehouses and implementing business intelligence. And then once AI has helped you implement that framework, the next great thing is AI can also help you analyze and create insights from that framework, which you then can review as a management team, with the humans leading the final charge on the information the machines are gathering and presenting. It is an exponential multiplier of the existing human resources of an organization. And so I would say, if we're looking at one most valuable thing to build around, it is that the use of artificial intelligence to help businesses implement business intelligence at a much higher clip than we're seeing in the market from an adoption standpoint. And finally, the most important thing I want to leave is a product spotlight. At the end of every episode, I want to make sure that my business owners out there, our entrepreneurs out there, are understanding that integrated systems are the only way to achieve the maximum freedom, profit, if you choose, or any of the other desired outcomes that you had when you began to build your business. I want you to think of machines not in the sense of an artificial intelligence. Think of a machine like a Starbucks. In the end, wherever you go in America, Starbucks, even the grocery store versions of Starbucks, absolute consistent experience in the end. Same packaging, same branding, same line, or sort of same point of sale system, same. What I'm talking about is the value of systems being integrated to deliver outcomes. We talk about Starbucks, well, we can go to McDonald's. It is the same exact concept. Go to the McDonald's all over the United States. Not only does the food taste similar, it's nearly an identical experience, from branding to operations. You look in the back at the cooks, they're literally structured the same way. Drive over every McDonald's you can, and you will be hard pressed to find one that is not constructed the exact same way. And that is the value that artificial intelligence and systems like Make bring to the table. Because what Make allows for you to do as a business owner or as a business is to connect at a much deeper level than some of the Zapier instances, your artificial intelligence and other applications. And the reason I'm centering on artificial intelligence is because if you look at Make's capabilities to orchestrate open AI activity. While we're talking and opened with ChatGPT, it's absolutely stunning what you can do and orchestrate when you're talking about connecting HubSpot, for example, with a ChatGPT to create an image. Let's say you're a graphic design firm and you get a customer sentiment. That sentiment coming in an email can be delivered via Make to ChatGPT to create the image. The image can then be pushed back to the reply. That is the type of capabilities that platforms like Make offer to the market. When you look at technologies today, you have artificial intelligence at its birth in the human consciousness, and then you have automation that has been proven to be able to scale ideas past the limitations of capital and human resources. And so overall, as we look for opportunities to implement artificial intelligence, we want to be looking as entrepreneurs and business owners to develop a framework of business processes that we have proven successful and connect them together with a potential artificial intelligence intersection at points where humans can now be relieved from doing mundane in work to actual value-added work. Of course, using Pareto's principle of 80-20, we can now free our resources up to focus on the 20% of activities that generate 80% of the results. So it's a very exciting time. I really, really love the energy and excitement around ChatGPT's first birthday, as of course, even with Make, OpenAI, and ChatGPT are the star of this show. I want to thank you all for viewing and attending. Thank you so much for the energy in my first edition of Power Take, and I cannot wait to get started. Let's play one more ode to our good founder, Jackson Callum.
Welcome to the Power Take Live, where we discuss strategic revenue growth for your brand and business. My name is Jackson Callum. I'm your host, and we look forward to talking about what's important for your business today. Let's dive in. Business buzz. What's happening this week in business, and how does it pertain to your brand? Filtering the noise. What distractions exist in the world right now that you should stay away from so you can focus on building a profitable business model? Building with poise. What things you should be doing consistently to drive sustainable revenue growth. We talk about how to get the most out of the tools that you're using to drive your success. Tune in to the Power Takes for momentum, motivation, and massive revenue growth.